Yes, 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 yes. All respect to those that break their neck to keep themselves in check. Yo, what's good? What it do? What's happening with all my people out in the late night hour? How are you? I know you had a good week this week. Let's go ahead and take what you want. Come and take what you want. See, nothing on the sign, nothing in any of these sciences is ever take what you're given. Take what you accept. Take what's acceptable. Take what's available. We don't do that. We take what we want. So that's what we here in the cypher doing. We taking what we want. Let's go ahead and get this thing going right now. We're going to take what the hell we want, period. We after our goals. We after what we want. We're going to take what we want. And that's what we're doing. So we're going to ride on this thing tonight real heavy, real sincerely. We're going to wake up a couple of these thought form entities, a couple of these core, core DNA strands. You have the core DNA strands, these strands of energy, life force essence that wills you and connects you to be yourself, that puts you in a position of war. At all times, you're in a position of war. You're never in a position of stillness where there is no war, because your stillness, even in your luxury, layers of yourself overstand that in order for you to understand luxury, in order for you to excite yourself through the acceptance of luxury, you have to have pressure that's applied all the time. And so that's what we're doing. We understand that we are loving the pressure. We love the pressure that's applied, because that pressure is what allows the luxury. You understand what I'm saying? The luxury is allowed based strictly on the pressure. And that's what we have. We have this pressure, and we love that. So we're going to go into that tonight. We're going to talk about this pressure. Yo, let's go ahead and go into a nice little vibration as you understand where we are and what we're going through and what we're doing. Peace and love to everybody in the building, everybody in the building. All right. I see all the fam coming up in here one by one. Yes, let's talk about this demonic love. All right. Let's talk about this demonic love. This love of demonic energy. Now we understand what a demon is and how a demon has nearly perfected himself, herself, itself, themselves. A lot of times you have accumulated energies that create one demon. It's like a whole bunch of smells that mix together to make one scent. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what we're gonna get on. Peace and love to all the gods and goddesses in the building. I see you walking up in here. So tonight we're gonna set this thing off. Let's go ahead and ride with this vibe. Just vibrate with me on this vibe right here. Peep game on this vibe. I'm gonna check y'all in a couple of seconds. Watch how this goes right here. Go ahead and tune into this shit right here. I'm just gonna play a little video for you one day. Maximize my screen.
Pray God no send me go take over here and murder motherfuckers. Scream and cry to your savior, call and run to your God. Nothing in this world could save ya. Tonight you are dead lie down. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust like a white pit. Pull me bullet them rush. Shot it on your face till your fucking skull crush. Any boy feel them can't get touched. Shook.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. So, seems like we're having one of those situations that are unexplainable. Peace and love to everybody in the building. Goddess Jamila, Wakanda, Leprechaun Carter, Makimba. Peace and love to all the gods and goddesses in the building. Tonight we're going to touch on some real heavy sciences. Goddess Numi, what's popping? Demonic Love. The series is ending tonight. Tonight we're going to tie it all in. You know how a demon is formed. You know how to walk with a demon now. Tonight we're going to get into this next science. What's up, Tracy Trey?
Walk in the park, sleep with angels, all the past we held.
Yo, madness, de la pena, dove cat. Send every blood clot, don't become one a love chat. Man a soul taker, me better than Lucifer. Cry to your savior, call and run to your God. Nothing in this world could save ya. Tonight you are dead, lie down. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust like a white pit. Pull me bullet them rush. Shot it on your face till your fucking skull crush. Any boy feel them can't get touched. Shook. Somebody has to get blood like hoof. Boy disappear like poof. Head home like sunroof. Me bad without a bumbo clap proof. The thugs them march out in a legion. This was a damn bumbo clap team. Pray God no send me go take over here and murder bumbo clap. Like a boy brimstone for you, just a run out of billions till like the lyric can't tire. Hell and mine if you put a food for my way. Shut up the city just like a Pikachu. You feel no say, me no live for her up in here. Mr. Any funny move, me a burr up in here. Motherfucker, me no have to have my curr up in here. Watch it, let me show the pussy them a who run in here. Cry to your savior, call and run to your God. Nothing in this world could save ya. Tonight you are dead, lie down. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust like a white pit. Pull me bullet and rush. Shot it on your face till your fucking skull crush. Any boy feel them left the street. Pumpy rifle bust and repeat. Uncle Demon come out for feast. Me even is hill. 19 body pan the freezer they chill. Me new graveyard I go easy fi fill. Me left mind just a take me fi kill. I know I just kill it. So me a fi march out. Shot a run inna your belly and inna your ass mode. If you know say man a general and them a rascal. Me get higher for your dopey like me want fi pass out.
Me get struck by lightning in transport to the days of the Viking and in.
Destroy people like a gladiator. With the thing them we tall like a titan and in.
Scream out, cry to your savior. Call and run to your God. Nothing in this world could save ya. Tonight you are dead.
Lie down. Ashes to ashes.
Dust to dust like a white big bull. Me bullet them rush. Shot put on your face till your fucking skull crush. Any boy feel them can't get touched. Somebody have to get blood like poof. Boy disappear like poof. Head up like sunroof. Me bad without a bumbo car proof. The thugs them march out in a legion. This was a damn bumbo car team. Pray God no send me go take over hell and murder bumbo car. Scream and cry to your savior. Call and run to your God. Nothing in this world could save ya. Tonight you are dead.
Lie down. Ashes to ashes.
Dust to dust like a wild pit bull. Me bullet them rush. Shot put on your face till your fucking skull crush. Any boy feel them can't get touched. Shook.
Yeah. What's the science? What's the knowledge? Everybody in the building like to big you up. I see you coming up in the building like to say what's popping, what's good with everybody in here. Now, listen, we're going to get into a science night. We're going to talk about a couple things and just kind of bring things back into order so you can see how things are really supposed to be connected. Right? Because, see, really, nobody really needs to teach you anything. Nobody needs to really teach you anything. Most of what you know is already learned. Most of what you have is already in your possession. Most of what you are, you were born in that state. You are already appearing. You already appeared at your highest level when you were born. When you were conceived, you were at your highest level. When you were born, you were at an extremely high level. Even from conception. You understand? The fact that you were conceived and you travel through that whole different phase of life, which is often overlooked. The phase of life from conception before birth, it's overlooked. We don't talk about what happens during the lifespan of in between both of the worlds. Noon, as it would be called in the tarot deck, Noon, which will be the key of the hangman, the one who suspends himself between different realms, the one who was in peace and turmoil, who in between peace and turmoil, in neither, but he's in between. He can see the turmoil if he look that way. He can see the peace if he look that way, but he's chilling. He's in the cut. You understand? When you take a deep breath, when you think about breath, you think about life, you think about breath, you think about your life, you think about breath, you think about the quality of your life, you think about the quality of your breath. When your breath is limited, it's short, it's shallow, so is your decisions, so are your thoughts, so are your ideas, so are your actions, so are your movements. So, of course, you connect your breath to the deepness and the depth of all things around you. You allow your breath to connect to the air that's flowing around you. You allow your breath to connect to the trees that are flowing around you. You allow your breath to naturally connect with the people that are in the same room as you. You ever see somebody who can't be in the same room with the people that they're in the same room with? You see how uncomfortable they are? They don't even want to bring this. You ever hated somebody and you didn't even want to breathe the same? You didn't even want to be around them. If they breathe in the same air you breathe in, you want to dip. You want to get rid of them. Understand The air that you breathe, the air that you breathe, the things that sustain you, these are the actual ingredients that create the spirits that you create, my God. Overstand being greeted as a goddess or being greeted as a god. What up, though? God, what up, God? What up, goddess? How you doing, love? How you doing, goddess? These things. These are principles. These are essences. These are not human factors. These are superseding the human experiences. These expressions are superseding the human experience. These expressions are superseding the human experience. What's up, love? It taps into the love essence, the essence of the fact that you are created and that you exist, and that you exist inside the element of love at all times. Even in your anger, you exist inside the principles of love. And your ability to destroy or be destructive, you do that inside the principles of love. If it's time for you to break somebody off, you do that under the principles of love. Luciferian energy. This is an energy that is the illuminated version of energy within your being. This is the energy that is the illuminated version of energy within your being. It doesn't matter what diaspora you're from. It doesn't matter what name you want to call this energy. It doesn't matter how long you want to act, or what tradition or culture or whatever. There's a frequency. There's an actual measurement of energy. There's a thought process that takes place behind any of these energies. And you have to go back to your original state. And you understand in your original state, where did you come from? But what about before your original state? What happened before you existed on the physical plane? Who created the spirits that you talk about? Who are these spirits? What are the stories of creation with the spirits that you talk about? What do the spirits say of their creative story? What is their word for where they came from and their purpose of being? Why do the spirits exist in that level? Now, you understand that you, as a being on this planet, peace and love to all the gods walking up in the building, all the goddesses walking up in the building. I see you. I know you here. And I like to say what's pop and what's good, though. All right, so we're going to get into a little bit of science right now. And you understand that you exist due to a communal state of existence. Everything about you is communal, even in yourself. Okay, let's start there. The self is which is a communal factor. The self, which is a communal factor, because the self exists through different fragments and different parts. It's fractal. The self is fractal, right? You have different sections of the self. So each section being self-existence, it exists on its own. But the self cannot exist without the different parts of self. Yet the different parts of self exist on their own. So self does exist with those parts. Now, if I take myself and I take yourself and I put those selves together, right? Or I separate those cells. Let's say I separate. I say, I don't fuck with you. You don't fuck with me. We don't fuck with each other. All right? We don't fuck with each other. Right? Yet and still, we're breathing the same air. We're inhaling the same oxygen. I don't never have to speak to you again. I can guarantee one thing you did today is inhale and fucking exhale. Now listen, your inhalation and your exhalation process, this is a key point. This is a very serious factor. Inhalation and exhalation. The process of breathing. The process of breathing. We just say the word breathe, and you don't understand, but you understand breathing is the process of pulling in. Peace and love to the goddess. What's up, leader? How you doing? Ken Wallace in the building, Arsenio Patton. The process of breathing, inhaling and exhaling. Let's look at a couple of actual definitions of the terms, of the actual terms and what they mean in themselves. Because to inhale something, okay, to inhale something, okay, inhale something. Now listen to the word. Hopefully you're understanding the etymology of the word. Hopefully you're understanding the etymology of the word. You don't have to look this up in a book. You don't have to read this in a book. You can understand. It's something that you do. It's the thing that gives you life. It's the sustenance of life, the very thing that sustains your breathing. That sustains your breathing. Your breathing is the thing that sustains your life. Your actual life is sustained by this thing. Your life is sustained by this process of inhaling. So the fact that you inhale, the fact that you inhale, the fact that you inhale. You spend your whole life trying to get to heaven, but your life force is inhale. You don't hear what I'm saying to you, though. You try to spend your lifetime getting to heaven, but your life force is inhale. What does it take? What does it mean? The actual work. You think that's a coincidence? To inhale the life force of breathing, which is taking the thing in. And understand that hell is always determined to be a place underneath the earth of fire, a place below the earth that is made of fire. Come on now. Understand what the fuck I'm saying. All these spirits you keep talking about, all these demons you keep talking about are aspects of you, the higher self. Hell, as you call it, represents something underneath the earth, something at a lower level of the earth, something that basically represents a separation from the deity, separation from knowledge. In most religions, you know, it's a place regarded of a spiritual, a realm of evil and suffering. And traditionally, it's depicted as a place of perpetual fire beneath the earth where the wicked are punished after death. Now, understand that these terms that we use, life, death, heaven, hell, earth, these are all terms because earth is a new term of the new world. Earth, before it was called Tiamat and all kind of other words. Earth, which is the heart chakra, Anahata. Earth, which is Anahata, the heart chakra. Beneath the earth, hell being beneath the earth is accurate based on the map of the body, which is a map of the cosmos, which is a map of your actual location as your conscious concentration. The place that your consciousness concentrates at is going to show you where you are. Earth, which is the heart chakra, the place that all things connect, all awarenesses, all emotions, all thoughts, they have to pass through the heart chakra, the Yoni heart chakra, the Anahata. Hell, which is being beneath the earth. It's beneath the earth. It's a place of evil and suffering. Why? Is a place, nothing, first of all, nothing in you is evil at all. Now, you may have developed certain breathing patterns and breathing techniques of inhaling and exhaling frequencies in thought form technology. You may have allowed yourself or cultivated a fucking devil. This is not Lucifer. a devil. The devil and Lucifer are different things. You, my friend, are the fucking devil. Do I need to say that shit again? I don't think I need to. See, the first thing that you need to do when you're dealing with any type of spirit is deal with yourself, because you are the ultimate spirit of all. Even the ones that created you bow down to you. Even the ones that made you need your permission to operate in the function, in the move, in the beat on certain levels. They have to have it, otherwise they can't rock with it. But you, Almighty God, have created yourself, and you traveled through several lifetimes, and you've existed on several planes, and experience is nothing but experience. But breath is what makes the demon. Breath is what evolves the God. And breath is what, when it's removed, it gives birth to death. When you remove breath, you get death. So you have to be in hell in order to live. And when you inhale, what you doing, baby? You inhaling oxygen. You're inhaling nitrogen. The oxygen itself is only 21% of the breathing process. Also, inside oxygen, you have mad particles that float in the oxygen that your lungs and the nose hairs and all of that. You have to filter that shit out. You can't just be breathing all them particles in there. You got all kinds of shit in the air. Just like these are your thoughts. When you're inhaling and exhaling, the things you have to think about, the things that you take inside yourself, even from your very breath. You can't be lazy. You inhale, which means, first of all, we know hell is a place that you decide what the fuck you want to do. It's a place you can do what you want to do because the rules are different in hell, right? In hell, that's the shit you got to do. You got to fucking be in hell. You got to deep your breathing, deepen your breath. Let your inhale be all the way down beneath the earth. Let it be a place of suffering. Let it be a place of suffering because you want to suffer in hell, right? Now, at first, you only want to suffer at first while you in hell. You don't want to stay in hell suffering. You want to suffer in hell at first. And guess what that means? That means that when you get down there, you're going to be front, all that little fake bullshit you be doing, like, I don't act like this, I don't say this, I don't do that. And you get around other people and you do other things. I'm not talking about the diplomatic version. I'm talking about the fake shit. Right? When you do that fake shit, because I mean, if you talk around elders and you change your speech, that's different than if you try to fake your speech around people or try to act like you are something that you're not. Right? So when you get to the other side of that equation, you understand that you're taking energy in and then you're pushing out what you don't need. You're inhaling and exhaling, and that's called breathing. That's the process of life. Inhaling, taking shit in through your invokers, your eyes, your nose, your ears, your mouth, your sensory perceptions. On the physical plane, on the etherical plane, you have to breathe. On the etherical plane and the physical plane, you think you just inhale from your fucking nose? You inhale just from your nostrils? Do you understand that only 21% of your breath is of the air? Only 21% of the air is oxygen. The rest, 78% of it, is nitrogen. And the last of that little baby 1%, because that's 99%. 99%. These are the different things that you're thinking of. So you have nitrogen. Nitrogen itself. Now let's just deal with nitrogen by itself inside. I'm talking about the breathing process, the creation of demons, the creation of a fucking demon. You talk about demons and spirits and gods, the creation of a demon, time traveling, time outside of time. Nitrogen is an essential element for life, basically,
We need nitrogen, obviously, because this is 78% of the breathing process of the air. We just say air and think oxygen. We say air, we think oxygen. We breathe, we symbiotic with the trees, we think oxygen, but oxygen is only 21% of breath, of the air that you take in. You have other things that you don't even see. You have other influences that you're not even aware of. Influences that sustain you. These ain't little shits. These are influences that keep you alive. Conscious on millions of levels. You could be talking to me. Somebody could come up and touch any part of your body, ever so lightly. Can approach you silently like a damn ninja. You're still going to hear them. If you don't hear them, furthermore, you might pick up on a sense. That's an extra sense where you sense the presence of another motherfucker. And you like, yo. Nitrogen, 78%. And it's an essential element for life. Now, it's a constituent of DNA. Now, that means that basically, as a constituent, it's a part of a whole, the nitrogen, okay? It's a voting member of a community, the nitrogen. Now this nitrogen, which is basically an unseen factor because you're thinking oxygen, the unseen factor, which is nitrogen, which is a bigger factor than the oxygen. I'm talking about metaphor. Even this is physiologically. This is what's happening in your breathing process. But also on an etherical plane, you need to breathe. You need to inhale and exhale. That's what breathing is. Because if I inhale and I keep inhaling and I don't exhale, that's not breathing. I can't breathe. I need to exhale. That's a part of my breath. If I only exhale, I have to inhale. It's the process of both inhaling and exhaling, giving and taking, giving and receiving and giving. You see how I went through that process of giving and taking, giving and taking, giving and taking. You don't give and take. You receive and you give. You give, you receive, you give. It's a different frequency than give and take. Give and take. Or do you take and give? See, everything is always twisted. It's always twisted. It's always about, let me take. Let me give first. Let me give first. Let me give first. Let me give first. See, humans have destroyed and changed the atmosphere. Humans have changed the atmosphere. Devils have changed the atmosphere etherically, where the universe was once pure at heart, pure in nature, pure in its design, pure in its evolution, pure in its form. The thought forms that have been included have murdered the peace and the serenity that used to live for millennia of millennia, for premortal time. It always was, it always was, it always was. It's this common new devil. It's this common new being that's so hateful and so wicked and so evil. And they flipped everything and called evil good and good evil. And now you think that what's good is evil and what's evil is good. All the shit that they tell you you're not supposed to be doing, you're supposed to be doing. If you're following these rules and you're deciding that you don't want to perform a certain thing or a certain way, if they tell you that you're not supposed to be doing it, run that. Run that. Your patience and your peace, it comes from within. Now the nitrogen is something that's coming from within, but the atmosphere has been changed because through now understand everything is connected. I told you that a constituent is a part of a whole or community. A constituent is able to make changes, political changes, changes that have been voted on. A constituent can make those changes. Nitrogen, which is 78% of your breathing process. These are in etherical forms. These will be what you call spirits that exist outside of yourself, because you have to understand, you yourself in the physical here and now, you exist right here. You make every decision for yourself. You do what you want to do. You say how you want to be. You act like what you're going through is what it is right here, right now. But not only are you right here, right now, being influenced by all the shit you done said, did, and heard before you got in this physical body, plus all the shit you done said, did, and heard in this physical body. But you're constantly producing new influences. You're constantly evolving into new layers of existence, into new layers of being, constantly. You're constantly growing into new layers of existence. You're a fucking constituent, like this nitrogen. But see, the nitrogen, that's 78%. The oxygen will be your decisions in this physical world and the shit you do in the here and now. You're the champ, you're the boss, you're the king, you're the man, you're the motherfucking one. Right now, you are. But that 78% of you is not only being existing in the in the nitrogenic forms, which are essential for all human life, being the fact that it's a part of the genetic code, being the fact that it shows all connections to the trees and the soil and it's the dwelling place for the nitric oxide. And when you actually extract that nitric oxide, it activates the erection by relaxing the muscles that control the blood flow to the penis. Come on now, let's talk about this shit now. What this is doing, this particular nitric acid, okay? Nitric oxide, which activates the erection. Now let's talk about that. Because the blood flow, we know life is in the blood. Life is in the blood. Life is in the blood. That's the reason why we do what we do when we do what we do. So you have a bloodline cosmically. It doesn't matter about your physical bloodline for the cosmic bloodline to do what it do. Now, the cosmic bloodline would prefer a certain physical bloodline so that it doesn't have to fight against all the bullshit that you carry in your blood. So you would want a specific bloodline so you ain't got to worry about certain things, because the blood is good enough and the blood holds memory. That's what your blood does. It holds memory. Your blood holds memory in the now. The 21% of your breathing process is in the here and now, which is the oxygen, but the 78% of that is from the nitrogen. Now understand, that's only 99%. That 1% left is a combination of different energies, and that's what happens with the different influences of other people. That 1%, which is a combination of carbon dioxide, helium, all kinds of little shit like that, methane, you know what I'm saying? And a whole bunch of small particles that just float in the air, microscopic particles that you breathe in, okay? That you take in, the things that you inhale, because you are inhale. This is your life force. Whenever you try to evolve or you try to grow or you try to get, when your survival is at stake, when it's about you growing and evolving and you find energies around you trying to hold your motherfucking ass back, they don't want you to grow. They don't want you to get no stronger. They don't want you to get no more clarity on situations. This is being inhaled. So you have to inhale deeply to take it to that particular Muladhara. I said it fucked up, that Muladhara. The Muladhara. You want to go down to that low spot. Fuck it. Yo, you want to hit that. You want to hit it low. All the way down. But you have all these different, so in different areas or different levels of awareness, you have different atmospheres. You have different atmospheres. You have different atmospheres. Like when it's humid, for example. That's nothing but what? Moisture in air. So when you sweat, which is your living relief, the living water is not always a physical sexual form, but it is sexual in the fact that it is life force. The same as the living waters of a womb, or the living water of a phallus, because the living water of a phallus is the blood flow that actually allows the phallus to be alive. And then it's the actual release of the phallus. You have the living water of the yoni, the golden nectar of the yoni, but you also have the living water of sweat, which releases toxins and cools you down with the air. Remember, the air itself, you have a living ecosystem inside your physical vessel. The living ecosystem inside your physical vessel. So you have air. Remember, it's made of 21% oxygen and 78% nitrogen. So your sweat is doing the same thing. It's dividing up, and it cools you down when it mixes with the air. But when it's humid, there's already too much water in the air, and it doesn't cool you down as much. You stay hot. The atmosphere changes. The thoughts change. The magic changes. And so your breathing process has to change. The things that you inhale, they have to be fucking different. The things that you do when you inhale. What do you do when you inhale? How you get down when you're inhale? What do you do when you're inhale? Are you scared when you're inhale? When you inhale? What do you do when you're in hell? Do you inhale when you're in hell? Yo, sweat is a living water, another form of the same energy that has taken another aspect of itself. Oxygen levels are different in different sections of the world, or different levels of consciousness or awareness. For example, mountaintops or valleys. The higher that you go into the atmosphere, right, the air is thinner and you have less particles or less thought forms that exist in the things that you do when you're in hell. You don't hear me though. If you go too high in the atmosphere and you haven't assimilated with your ascension, what happens? Think about mountain climbers. This motherfucker climb Mount Everest, right? It goes too high to get altitude sickness. That's what the technical term is called, altitude sickness. And it can result in loss of sight, the loss of several different senses, sight being one of them, swelling of the brain in different parts of the body, blood clot, etc., etc., etc. Symptoms of a change in altitude or different levels of awareness are going to be ears popping. All these are physiological changes, but they all happen in the ethers too. So if you understand my message, you understand the fact that your etherical senses, your physical senses, let's keep it simple. Your physical senses are connected directly to the amounts of to the process that you go through when you breathe. And understand breathing is inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. So when you go too high in the atmosphere, you ever been in a plane, you ever been in a mountain, when you go too high in the atmosphere, the altitude is too much, the oxygen level changes, right? The oxygen level inside the ear and the oxygen level outside the ear is different, so the ear pops. And if you don't yawn, which is the air factor again, or stretch, which is the air factor again, then it can be painful. A change in atmosphere. A change in atmosphere. A change in altitude. Look at it. The animals, the world will tell you. Look at dolphins and whales, who are air or oxygen breathing mammals. They hold their breath underwater. Right? They hold their breath underwater. Fish breathing in the oxygen underwater. Everything in this plane, everything on these planes, all is involved. They're all involved in the process of intake and release. Intake and release. You can never release if you have never taken in. If you've never inhaled, your manifestations will be flimsy. They'll be short-lived. Inhale, you must become a master. Inhale, you have to be a master. In your breathing, you have to be a master. And in your lower chakras, you have to be a master, because if you can't master the lower levels, you'll never, ever, 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 ever fuck with the higher levels. All right, because you know what? That satanic energy, that low level shit, remember what hell is represented to be. Remember the actual hey, look up the definition. Look up the definition yourself. All right? That's what you need to probably go do. Go look up the definition of hell. Hell, as regarded by most people on this physical plane right now, hell, as a noun, is usually regarded in a spiritual realm inside your consciousness, a place of suffering. Why? Because it's dormant, where the energy always wants to move. When energy is built up, it combusts. So the suffering comes from the fact that the energy wants to move, but there's inaction. This is the creation of a devil, not a demon. Inaction. The creation of a devil and not a demon. That's the conception of death. You're removing breath, so I can guarantee you that your inhale and your breathing is shallow. So your inhale is weak as fuck. Therefore, you are in HELL. Traditionally, this is a place of perpetual fire, right? That's because this is your Kundalini energy trying to evolve and trying to raise up. It's beneath the earth, which is the heart chakra, which is accurate. And this is a place that the wicked are punished after death. Yes, of course, the wicked are punished there. Why? Why would the wicked be punished there? Who are the wicked and how are they punished and who are they punished by? Why are you punished there? Because this is where the dormancy combusts at. Don't have to happen to you. Yo. So while we in hell, baby, let's get it. Let's get it, son. Let's get it. While we inhale, let's take those deep breaths and let's exhale all the shit we don't want. All the fear, all the guilt, all the doubt, all the worry, all the judgment. Stop judging each other. You know what? You're going to fuck up. And guess what? Your man's is going to fuck up. And homegirl, she going to fuck up. And you're going to fuck up. But make sure that your fuck up is nothing but opinionated. Don't let it be a fuck up, because the opinions are going to leave just like looks. Just like lust. It don't last. Lust don't last. Looks don't last. Opinions don't last. Motherfucker have a good look now, have a fucking bad look later. Have a good opinion now, later that shit rot. They're temporary. Let your mistakes be mistakes that are like that. Don't let your mistakes be, to the core, based on your progress, or your ill progress, or trying to block people from making moves. Because, every single move, especially at this level in the game, is important. You know what I mean? People are making moves right now. You understand where you are in the procession of eons, where you are in the procession of the nows. Right now, people are evolving way faster than they were in the then. All right, you have instant experts being born every instant. There's a different level of expertise, but there's a level of retention. It's not really experienced experts. It's experts that can regurgitate and tell you the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So you got to pay attention to that. People are learning and they're working it out, especially if we're working on the spiritual shit. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? It's gonna evolve you, and when you evolve, you get rid of all the bullshit. You can't evolve and keep all the fake, faulty, fraudulent stuff, and all the stuff that you want to get rid of. You got to get rid of it. So when you're learning and practicing, you're gonna make a lot of the unnecessary decisions. You have to learn how to have more of a respect for self, which is in synchronization, a community, a constituent. And if you want to be a demon, you'll do that. If you want to work with demons, you'll do that. They're constituents, like nitrogen, like oxygen. Things are inhaled and exhaled. You keep what you want. The rest of that shit is ghosts. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yo, it's been real, as it always is. It's been real. I'm going to shut down right here. Tomorrow, hold on, before I go through the lineup, let me go ahead and look through the comments and holler at my people right quick and see what's happening. You know, with y'all, hell y'all up right quick, because I know y'all in the building. And, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I see y'all in here. Yes, yes, yes. Word is born. Yo, so everybody, is so many comments and they're coming so fast. I can't really. I just want to say, yo, it's all good, man. You know, on a practical level, you know what I mean. Just think about yourself as being a creative being, a being that actually literally creates everything with your living essence. You're a part of you're a constituent. You're a part of a community that makes decisions. And this is a decision. These are silent constituents. You're a silent constituent. You're not a silent constituent. You talk a whole hell of a lot, but your fucking breathing don't say nothing verbally. Not to the level where you're even paying attention. Half the time you probably forget to breathe. Inhale deep, exhale deep. See, that's the thing. You inhale deep, exhale deep. In the nose, out the mouth. This is the science of life. This is the science of life. If you understand the etymology of this phrase I just gave you, you will have no problems in your life. You inhale, understand what that means. Of course, it means on a physiological level, you are to breathe deep. You inhale deep, which means that in your hell, in your low being, in your state of suffering, in your state of evil, in your state of so-called apparent evil, you do it deeply. Have fun with what you love. Don't let nothing or no one judge the true self, which is the true God, the one that's always receiving a bad rap for trying to be existing on the level of self. All self want to do is be happy. Now, if you're trying to abuse other people and taking advantage of the innocent, then you got something coming for your ass. And that's something that you should already know, because the self is going to warn you against that. This is one of those styrofoam entities. You're like a particle. You're like a fart. You're like a particle in the air. See, particles in the air, that's what you get your smelling from. You think your smelling is because that thing. Listen, those are particles that are literally in the air. When you cook your food, those particles, those nutrients, those values were once in the air, were once in the food. But when you apply heat to the food and it heats it up to that vegetable or to that whatever it is that you're cooking, it releases those particles in the air. And so it touches the membrane inside your nose and you smell it, and it attracts your sensory perception. It attracts your sensory perception of scent, and you make an opinion on that thing. Different cultures have different sensory perceptions based on smell. Different cultures have different sensory perceptions based on sight. Certain cultures view certain things as beautiful. Certain cultures view certain things as ugly. Certain cultures can't even see certain even colors. You understand what I'm saying? You as an individual, Your Luciferian energy is inside of you. Your satanic energy is inside of you. You don't stay Satan? Damn, you're going to stay Satan? You a bad motherfucker. Goddamn. You got to balance like a motherfucker, though. I'm going to tell you that right now. And you ain't going to stay any of them gods or goddesses. You're not going to stay any of them. Energy always moves. Energy always travels. Anytime energy sits still, it becomes a problem. Anytime energy sits still, it loses its vigor. Energy has to be grown. Energy has to be moved. Yo, just like your breath. You can't inhale and be like, I'm going to just, you ever smell something good and just going to keep smelling it until you can't fucking smell no more? I mean, when did that stop? How long you going to inhale? You ever inhale the roses? You going to inhale that motherfucker till you can't breathe no more till the day you dead? When you going to stop? Okay. Now you're going to exhale. You're going to let shit out. You're going to just keep letting shit out. You're going to let it out, let it out, let it out. When you going to stop? Energy has an ending and has a beginning. On this level, that just sustains you, and there are inside and outside forces. You be in control of all of them. Right now, you are remote controlling from an etherical plane. Hopefully, you're doing it from the ethers. You're remote controlling this physical life. If you're not, you need to take them goddamn controls. The way you do that is go inhale, in and out your mouth, in and out your nose, in and out your mouth. Okay? That's how we do it. That's how we do it. So it's been real. You know what I mean? It's been real with y'all today. I just want y'all to know, man, like, think about this thing on that level. Think about this thing like that. Think about are you a particle in the air that somebody can smell? Are you a bad smell or a good smell? Are you a distraction? Because those things are distractions. Sometimes they're hints. Sometimes these smells can be warnings. Right? You ever smell some shit and be like, man, I'm not going that way. Right? You ever smell something and been attracted to it? That's what you are. These are the demonic. You call them demons. Just lump everything into a demon. A demon. Demons are influences, but they are pure in the sense that they have nearly perfected where they are. Whether you view them as good or evil, it's just purely a perception. This is clearly a path towards the illumination or the illuminated factor. This is clearly a path of illumination, the path of illumination, the path of enlightenment, which is clearly a byproduct of pure darkness. Hey, if you didn't catch that, rewind it. It's one love for the people. So look, I'm out of here, man. I gotta go handle this thing, man. You know, it's been real. But listen, I want to tell you, tomorrow I have something real crazy for you on Frequency Fridays. Time travel and the art of illusion. Time travel, because we're time traveling. We're time traveling. How many memories have you had? Deja vus. Where do you think they're collected from? Some people have several deja vus. They can cash into the bank. This is like somebody going to the bank all the damn time. You're like, damn, how many times are they going to let you come in there? You just keep coming out, pulling out money like it's like that. Like you don't ever go to work. I don't never see how the hell you get so much bank access. This is what we're doing on the ethers. And this is what some people do with deja vu, time traveling, the controlling of speeding and slowing down time. This is all done through your sensory perceptions, and we're going to go into that tomorrow. That's Frequency Friday. I know I'll see you all in the cipher. Now, tomorrow we have the goddess Jamila and the goddess Amani Infinity with Enchantress, who are doing a self-love ritual part 2. You don't want to miss. The first one was stupid. I mean, it's just to the point. It was very informative and very, like, the energy was real strong. It's something that I support. You know, not really just be co-signing and jumping on stuff, but I definitely know if you don't, there's an event on Alchemy Temple for this event. You need to definitely go sign up and see about jumping in on that. Now, we also have this new moon tomorrow, Cancer, baby. Let's get it. All the Cancers in the building. I know you're jumping on this now. If you're not a Cancer, but you really love that nurturing energy or that lovey-dovey, or if you just kind of want to be like loved by somebody or an energy like you want that one-on-one connection, that's what we're going to go into tomorrow, which is that connection that Cancer has, that energy of connection. So let's go ahead and get that Cancer vibration. Tomorrow's going to be that on this ritual. There's an event set up for this ritual. Go on Alchemy Temple's page, inbox us if you have any problems with the event on the page. Inbox Alchemy Temple page if you have any questions or whatever, and we'll respond to you, get you signed up for this ritual. If you do get the membership, you're automatically included in all the rituals that come, in both of all the lunar rituals that come every single month. Okay, so that's something to think about on that. So yeah, tomorrow's going to be the move for that. We're going to tap into that love vibration for Cancer. We're going to tap into that love vibration for Cancer and kind of see how that nurturing energy go. And see, like, it may not even be a physical thing. This is another business thing for Cancer. Cancer deals with that much. It's self-love. You're talking about self-love. Cancer, perfect time, synchronistic. Because listen, Cancer going to love themselves. Now, I'm not talking about the Cancer who's off whack, who off center. They can't really love themselves because they're trying to handle business, or they stressed out of you treating them like shit, so they don't really know how to do that at that case. They close up, they go in that shell. I'm talking about the Cancer that's thriving, right? Every sign is always about the one that's strong. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the strength behind the energies, because you, oh God, great and mighty one, you contain all the positive qualities. All the positive qualities exist inside you, just like as so. Furthermore, the negative qualities exist. But on the negative qualities, just like when you're stressed out or you're under pressure, you're depressed, or you're sad, or you're feeling low, you're feeling ashamed, you're feeling weak. These emotional states of awareness, these feelings that you have are there to pressure you. That's the satanic energy, the pressure, the depression, the stress. That is that energy that's there to pressurize you. Just like when you go into a high altitude that's way above where you're supposed to be going in, like an airplane, right? I just talked about people climbing Mount Everest and they get the altitude sickness and they have brain swelling and swelling of the body and loss of different sensory perceptions and all of that. But when you go on an airplane, you're higher than them. You're 30, 40,000 feet in the air. How is it that you can be 40,000 feet in the air and not have those type of altitude sicknesses or those symptoms of altitude sicknesses? Because the cabin is pressurized. You're not fucking hearing me. The cabin is pressurized. The cabin is under pressure. And so it's able to evolve or elevate through the situation. And inside this bubble of existence, what you call low is really up. What you call down is up, and what you call up is down. You don't know where the fuck you at. All right, it's just like swimming in the ocean, and you swimming, you don't know if you're going forward, up, down, whatever, unless you have a source of light. And if you are in pure darkness, which is ignorance in the case of darkness, not in darkness in the sense of origination, or darkness in the sense of power, but darkness in the sense of ignorance, and you know where the fuck you at. You need a reference point to find. That's what the light represents, because you've been cut off, cloned, and amalgamated into fractal parts of yourself. So you don't understand exactly where you're ending up, because you don't know where the fuck you at. You definitely don't know where you came from. And the only way you're going to do that is by going to yourself and go to hell. Inhale, motherfucker. Stop being scared of demons. You are the demon, or you hope to be. This is something you should be aspiring to. Inhale, and when you inhale, and you inhale the proper way, energetically, consciously, you will exhale the bullshit, the fear, the guilt, and the doubt. All right? One love, peace and love. Hey, listen, you want to contact me or any of my team, because my whole team, and I'm going to just say this. I'll take the time to say this about my squad, my team, right? My team has been handpicked. Okay? Handpicked team. Handpicked team. And everyone on the squad is dedicated to themselves. And to you getting the information of how you can be dedicated to the same motherfucking you. We're all dedicated to you, and guess who you is? When I say I'm dedicated to you, I'm talking about me. Because I am you when you refer to me. When you refer to me, you're talking about you. And when I refer to you, I'm talking about me. Because I am you and you are we are one. Mm-hmm. And my inner resolution it's involved with evolution. And I move like a serpent, slick. Never give a fuck about that bullshit. Let's get it, yo. Yo, I'm out of here, man. I love y'all, man. I'll see y'all on the next cipher tomorrow. Y'all come in there, look for me. Frequency Fridays. The actual new moon ritual is going to be after Frequency Fridays. We're doing time travel, and I'm going to go into some time travel and shit. I'm going to give you some clues and some keys on how to do your own time traveling. We're going to set it off. One love, y'all. I'll see y'all on the flip side. Hey, stick around for these little videos I have for you. One love. Yes, we won. Definitely won. All the gods, I appreciate y'all in the building. I see y'all. Yes, yes, yes.
Will you help me?
mysterious and my mission secret. I cannot reveal it to you.
Why not?
Because I would then have to kill you.